So I'm going to go ahead and show you how I do everything here, including lining up the layout around the corner, getting a level mark across, dropping everything down, and having the siding go straight across the tops of the windows, making sure that layout stays consistent. Around the front here doesn't matter so much because that's vertical siding, so I don't need to worry about the layout lining up right there. If it was horizontal siding, then I would make sure it matches around each corner. All right, so I'm gonna shut this off for a second and get things ready. Alright guys, I'm back. We got a little noise from equipment here, but hopefully it's not too annoying. We got is, I never did mention how I get layout started for siding, and I'm gonna have a more in-depth video on that in the next house. Look at that view. This house is right on the little pond, pretty nice. Anyways, what I do is I figure out the main floor of the house, where that's at, where I can get the most starter strip on, and that's where I want to put the bottom of the siding, is an inch below the top of the foundation is what I do. It works pretty well. And then you measure your drops. This drop right here was 32 inches, so that worked out to have starter strip down there as well. And I just checked this right here, and to the bottom there to right here is, it's an even dimension. I marked up 48 there. That got me a mark right here, and then coming over with the top of the foundation is 24. So that's on an 8-inch layout, which is really nice. So I'll be able to use starter strip across the whole bottom and then back up there. Now what I've done sometimes in the past is I've actually just skipped all this bottom stuff and put my first full piece of siding up here all the way across. Then you have something to measure to, but I'm going to show you how I start from the bottom and work my way to the top here. So what I'm going to do is, I already have my corner down an inch, and I'm going to measure up in even dimension. I want to get above those windows, so I'm going to go 24 inches plus 2.5, because the starter strip is about 2 3/8 tall. So that means when I put my starter strip on down here at 2.5, it's going to be up inside the corner just a little bit, and then the siding won't be below the corner. Yeah, it works out pretty well. You can see over here how the siding is right in line with the bottom of the corner, or maybe a little bit up. Some people hang their corners down way further. It's really a preference thing. I prefer to have it closer to flush with the corner, because I don't like it when you start seeing nail holes and stuff below. I mean, you can trim off the nail holes, but I just think it looks a little goofy myself. Like I said, it's a preference thing. And I angled my nail so that my chalk line will work its way to the inside there. And over here, I'm going to confirm that this drop is the same here. I think it's a 32-inch drop, but I'm going to double check that. Yep, we got 32 inches exact, so that's pretty nice. And that's the main floor of the house. So we went 24 inches over there, plus our 2.5. We'll do the same thing over here. And look at that, it's gonna hit this dryer vent. So what I'll do, I'll mark the 26.5. Actually, you know what I'll do? I'll mark 24. 24 right there. And grab my level that over, move it up 2.5 inches. Not to make this whole thing one big ad, but these are my favorite levels right here. Stabila, they're a little bit expensive, but they come with a lifetime warranty. And I've been really happy with them. They stay right on, they stay true. Right there we got it leveled over. Now we gotta move it up our 2.5. Just hold it on 4 and then mark 6.5. And I don't use the bottom because this thing moves back and forth. So if I just hold it right on, I know I'm exactly, hold it right on 6 or whatever, I know I'm exactly on. Okay, I'm gonna pull this thing really tight so to take away the sag. And there we go. We got a straight line to start with. And I'm looking down where I want to make my mark. I'm gonna pound a nail just a little bit below that line. Now I got something to hook on. See, when it drops down, it moves it right onto that mark. Right onto that line. You can do a little bit of adjusting just by hitting the nail up or down. So that's the top of our starter strip up there. And it should work out well to mark 96, which is an increment of 8 inches. Helps if your Tyvek is tight against the house, or your house wrap, I should say. It's not Tyvek, but when I first started, Tyvek was the first brand out, so it kind of became like saying Kleenex to me. And then you ended up with a bunch of knockoff brands like this. In my opinion, not as nice as actual Tyvek, but it does the job. Again, I'm angling my nail back so that if it's angled the other way, my end of my chalk line will slide away from the wall. So instead of that, it slides tight to the wall. And right here, it's pretty close to the edge of the window where we want to make a mark. So I'll go close to the edge there. I'm starting my nail about an 1/8 inch below that line. It seems to work out pretty well to have your tape hook right on the line. Bump it up a little bit. And right there, we're right on. We were at 8 foot on the other one. I'm gonna mark 80 inches here. I'm gonna have to probably level it over. Actually, no, I can get it. Not bending my tape too much to get around that window. Come on. Right there. 96. Okay, and I need to make a mark next to the door on both sides. I'll get this thing hooked and same thing here. It just makes it a little easier to measure when you set a nail. That one worked out just right. And the other thing I'm going to do is just double check on the bottom of the windows that the dimension is staying the same. To make sure that this thing's starting out level. Could use a little bit more chalk, but still have plywood down there, so that's good. Well, I'm gonna have to add a little piece of J on the bottom of that door. Sometimes things are a little bit goofy. There's not a whole lot you can do to make them the way you want them. Grab that ladder, and same thing over here. I'll have to pound these nails in when I get up top here. It's a waste of a trip to go up just to pound the nail in. 96 again. And I already had a nail started over here. And I'm bumping this thing to get the chalk to settle down to the end, so it actually puts some chalk on the line as I'm stringing it out. If you're wondering what I'm doing there. Okay, there we go. Got both our lines chalked. And the grade is really close to the bottom of the wall here. So the builder opted to put ice and water all the way up to here. So you're gonna actually probably almost bury the bottom of the siding, which is not really recommended, but it'll be okay. Okay. I have all my starter, J-channel, undersill, everything I need for this wall is right here. All the trim pieces are right here. Okay. And I'm hoping now this undersill is long enough to do the window, but I don't think it will be. We'll see. These are all scraps. I got J-channel, and I need probably 2 pieces of undersill. First thing I'll do is get the starter on. That'll establish where I can put my other trim pieces. And these don't have to be all the way tight. I can leave little gaps. On either end. I prefer to get it pretty tight, that way I have an easy edge to go off when I put my trim up. And once again, I have this Senko SLS 20 for doing all my starter, my trim. I find it pretty convenient because it puts the staples in all the way tight, or nearly tight. Technically, this starter strip you're probably supposed to use the nail slots, but I've never seen it cause a problem. Not being able to move. Okay, I'm just gonna double check this on the window. I should have checked it before, but we got 21 1/8 and 21. That is beautiful. Go back a little bit with this one, and see, this way you can kind of get yourself into trouble when you start from the bottom, because what can happen is sometimes the siding doesn't actually stay true on 8 inches when the clip is fully engaged. I'm taking a little bit of a chance here, just gonna level that. Okay. A little bit of a chance that it won't quite line up perfect. Yeah, I've dealt with siding that for every piece you lose almost an 1/8 inch, or sometimes you almost gain a 1/8 inch. So this stuff has been staying pretty true to 8 inch increment, so I'll be all right. And I can fudge it a little bit if I need to. You do have a little bit of play inside that clip. Get the middle set, get the end set, get the other end. Some of this stuff, you see it likes to sink down. Well, some of it's actually, believe it or not, it's not even manufactured straight. It's actually curled right from the manufacturer. I think it's when they extrude it. When they bend it, or whatever you want to call it. I don't think it's extruded. I think it's rolled. It's sent through a mold that makes all the folds and little holes. I'm stopping a little short at the end there. And those staples have to be pretty much well inside there, or well set, because otherwise it's going to hit the siding and actually create a little bubble. Really close to that mark, and that's level right there. Actually, the little torpedo level that Stabila makes I don't really like. I actually like this Empire one better. The Stabila torpedo level that I have, you can only use one edge of it. The top has this weird like bubble bump in it. And this one you can hold it anyway. Okay, so we had 8 foot or 96 inches from top of starter to top of starter. So this thing right here I call my drop catcher. Very technical name for it that I made up. Very ingenious, if I do say so. And I'm gonna go a little bigger than that. 96. About 3/4 bigger. And now you can see how this goes from out to just about flush. So what I'm going to do is start to flatten this thing out. That way it'll stay tight against the concrete all the way up, but it won't be deformed too much. So just gently working that bend out a little bit. I think I can do it all the way down a bit because it's actually bent a little bit too tight. Okay, and I put my staple a little bit far over on that starter. Usually I leave room for this to slide in there. So I'm just going to trim this back a little bit here. That'll be good. Okay. And we're trying to cover this ice and water. They put it a little too far over. I'm not going to worry about that black that's there. And I'm going to go a little bit below that, the bottom of the starter. There we go. You can see how that flexes to contact the cement. Man, I do not know how to measure. It was 8 feet from up there. Okay, scratch that. We're just gonna cut it right there. Okay. Okay, there we go. So I want to be above the bottom of the starter. Okay, I'm just gonna plumb this up now. Right on. now this gets mostly hidden by my J-channel. You'll see what I mean in a second here. Make sure it's staying straight and plumb. Yep, it's looking good. Okay, what did we have now? We should have, was it 64 maybe? We got 64, 72. Okay. See, we're right on layout right there. 64 plus 8 is 72. Increments of 8. Where's that J channel? There it is. $72. Right there. Marking that trough of the J. And some of these things are preferences. This is another preference that I have. Just cutting it about 1 inch above my 72. And I'm just going to cut this like that, roll it down, and then just kind of match the profile of the siding. So the siding will be all slip righted through there. Well, I did it backwards. That's supposed to go there. That's going to go down there now. Swing and a miss again. All right, guys, where did I put that other piece of J? What did I do with it? There's that one. There it is. It's right in front of me. You guys are like, it's right there. Get it? It's right there. Somebody called me. Okay, we'll try again. J channel goes this way. Okay, so now I want to cut the notch in the top, not the bottom like I did before. And it was 72 inches. And again, I'm marking this back side of the trough right at 72. And leaving about 1 inch above that mark. And once again, matching the profile of the siding, or pretty close anyways. All right, so now there we go, we got that. Woo! Look at us, now we're cooking with peanut oil. All right, so this is gonna go just a fuzz below the bottom of the starter. I'm gonna staple close to the top of the hole so it can't fall down any further. So there's enough room now siding can slide over that. And if you look down here, it should be down a little bit below this starter here. It's a little bit tight. I could probably go down a little bit more. But it's good. It'll be all right. And I'm matching this edge with the edge of my drop catcher. We already plumbed up that drop catcher. And see what I was saying, it's mostly covered there, but it just makes it white behind it. There we go. Got our drop catcher on there, got our J on, and that's good. So that side's ready for siding. I gotta check this. We got 24 inches. That works out really well with the siding because it doesn't land next to a rib. It's in the flat part of the siding. So I know I can use undersill. This is the undersill right here. What this does is it's too short. Yep, go figure. I don't like to two-piece it on things that can be one piece, so I'll use a fresh piece. Okay, so I'm matching this up and just feeling it, and I'm matching it up with the inside of the trough of the window, and I'm going to staple it right there. Okay, you'll see what I was saying right there. It's right with the inside of the trough. I don't want it sticking out because it's going to interfere with the siding. Ooh, trying to stand up. Okay, got my bags hooked on my pole there. Okay, I'll make a mark and carefully try to cut this and hope it doesn't crack. There we go. This will be big enough to do the other window. Mint. So we got our undersill on. We're working our way that way. Everything over here is ready for siding. All the trim's on, starter's on. And we know that this is a little bit extra long for there, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to use it to continue this door J channel down so that there's not just an edge of the siding sticking out in no man's land. Okay, so we got about 1 5/8. I have a little trick for this too. So I can get a little better nailing on it since it's such a small piece. I'm gonna cut it, yeah, about that much bigger. Okay, so I'm just following that around there, and just like that. I'll bend this out. Let's get this in there. It's not the best look, but it's better than if I didn't put it. So I don't know what to say about that. It just is what it is. It's vinyl. I suppose I could cut off this little rolled edge there and go straight down with the edge, but I don't know. I don't think that'll look any better. So I'm going to do the same thing here. This should be about the same. Yeah, I got 1.5 inches, so I'll go 1 5/8. This one I'll actually mark out because, just because. All right. So I'll say 5 inches, and then I'm coming back 1 5/8. And snip it nice and square. And I'm again going just a little bit back. You see how the snip is a little bit further than that. Okay, and same thing here, snipping my 1 5/8 mark, rolling around the corner, and snipping that bit off there. All right. The other thing this does is, just by having that whole thing in there, the whole trough, I can rely on the door edge to actually hold my J straight for me. I don't have to worry about it getting kinked or anything any which way. suppose I could put a nail close to the top of that hole so I can't slide down, but it'd pound them tight. It does look a little crooked, but that's the nature of vinyl. There we go, it's a little straighter now. Just bend it straight. Okay, well, this piece isn't going to be used for there anymore, so snipping off that bit that was sticking below there, and we'll just kind of mark that there. I'm going to double check this in a second. I want to be right with that bottom there, a little bit below the bottom of the starter. And man, they didn't do me a favor with that. They actually, I'm gonna have to step this J channel around this granite here. Okay, so I'm gonna mark it there. And let's see, what do I want to do? I'll go right with that, and then the next piece will overlap this one. Okay. So we're down a little bit past the starter, about an 1/8 inch. Now at the top of the hole so it can't slide away. And let's see, what do I want to do? I think it's gonna look pretty good if I, yeah, okay. I'm gonna cut the trough out. Okay. And then I'm going to follow that edge of the granite a little bit. And I want to overlap it. So I actually need to go up. Okay. Yeah, so I need to go up straight here. And then come down at an angle. And the back slides past it conveniently. Well, that's holding it out. Okay, I wanted to get it behind the other one. Alright, so just a little minor adjustment there. I'm actually not too crazy about the way that looks. So I'm going to return a piece coming this way. And hopefully I can, okay. This is kind of guesswork, guys. Let's see, where do I got? Okay. Follow that edge there, going down like that. And then I know that this edge is there. And cut that at an angle. There. This can be back a little bit that way because the other one's going to cover it up. Okay. Now hopefully this looks pretty good. I gotta cut that out. No, that looks dumb. I think I need to start over, guys. I'm gonna hang this one up, then I can make that one go down and over. And hopefully this granite stays in place. It's just kind of resting there. Yeah. Okay. Try again. Try again. Okay, once again, about 1/8 inch down, making a mark there. This time leaving the top long. And I'm just gonna cut out the trough. Make sure that this bottom looks good. Yep, it's looking good. And I put a staple in there, so I'm just gonna make this so it will go around it. Okay, we're down a little bit below, and the trough is not cut out quite enough. All right, here we go. That's looking good. So we're gonna come down and turn that corner. So we don't need much of an angle. So I'm gonna do my trick for the adjustable angle here. I'm gonna cut just a smidgen out of there, a little wedge, and then a little bit bigger wedge in the back. And then I'm cutting out this. Now we have an adjustable angle. Whoop, whoop. Makes that sound effect too, in case you didn't know. All right, right there. We're going a little big with it. And there we go. Just like that. Now I'm following the angle of this one with this cut. And I'm gonna make a mark on the outer edge and on the inner edge. Now this can get cut back. I don't want to go up too high with that point. And I'm going to cut actually, no, I can leave that attached. Okay. Roll around the edge a little bit. And I'm cutting off that rolled edge there. And I'm lining up the snip. And now we have a little tab to lock that in place. And I'm gonna actually mark this back here with the top of that AZEK, or PVC I should say. It's not actually the AZEK brand. Okay. Make it nice and pretty. That slides right in there. Okay, so it's holding it up a little bit. So I need to snip this out a little bit more. It's still too high up. What's going on? Is it hitting anything? Nope. I just need to go about another 1/8 inch, I think. Yeah. Yeah, that looks good. Okay. Careful when you nail close to your fingers. Try to keep them far enough away so you're not gonna, if the nail deflects, you're not gonna staple your finger. Okay. Wow, where did my nail puncher go? I don't have it. It's opened up a little bit there. I'm gonna sneak a nail inside the trough and that'll hold it tight against the AZEK. Keep on getting hooked on my pole here. There, now you're out of the way. All right, let's see what happened to my nail puncher. There it is. I'll put a link in the description for this. This is I believe, oh, it's cobalt. I have other ones that are made by Malco. They're a little smaller. This one's a little bigger, a little harder to lose, I guess. All right, so pushing that where I want it, getting that nail right there, and hopefully it doesn't crack. There we go. It opened up that edge a little bit. Hopefully I can pound it up. No, that's good. I'm gonna actually bend this a little bit so that it'll hold pressure against that joint there. There we go. She's a beauty. Okay. You guys are like, I just watched a guy monkey around with J channel for 10 minutes. It's all part of a good job though. Alright, so I'm gonna get my drop catcher up this edge here. I'll measure this one in because it's gonna butt against the top of this PVC. Got 58 3/4. 58 3/4. Don't need that. And this one actually looks like it's gonna work out pretty well with the bend it has. Maybe just straighten it out a little bit, flatten it out a bit. That was a little bit too much right there. I made a little crease in it. Try to take it out. Yeah, looks good. Okay, where did I leave my level? Oh, it's right against there. And this time I'll start on the bottom and I'll plumb it up again. Those wrinkles should go away once I get this thing stapled all the way on. I do not like wrinkles. Okay. Maybe only in potato chips. Just gotta look for the areas where it's hooked and kind of try work them out. I've seen people do just a straight return back in. It doesn't really allow you any bit of adjustment. So I like to have a piece that has an angle in it so you can do adjustments with it. It ain't perfect, but the J is going to cover it mostly up, just so when you look in there it's white. All right, now we gotta do drip edge, and this one I'm actually not gonna cut the Tyvek. Usually I do and slip it underneath. I don't like where the window edge is. Water is gonna get behind there, and I'm gonna make a slit right there and it's just not in the best spot. So hopefully I don't wreck this thing when I do this here. I didn't cut the trough out high enough or low enough. Just gently putting pressure against that. I'm bracing my fingers with other things so that I don't go too fast and have my knife slide away on me. All right, we got 4 7/8. This one I'll just cut a little bit out of angle, and I guess I'll leave a bit on there. That way the water runs the right direction. I cut that off, and I'll make a slit so that I can bend it up a little bit. And I'll just cut that back a smidge. Okay. Bend that tight. And away we go. Well, this guy's gonna go like this, but I'll overlap it just a smidge. And it looks like I can just go right with that edge there. Maybe I'll leave that on right there. I don't know. But I'm gonna cut that there. What do I want to do? I'm not gonna bring it over there. I'm gonna cut it right with that outer edge of that. Straighten out this a little bit here. There we go. And I want to overlap the other one, and that's looking really good. Chances are they're actually going to bring mulch up over that. I'm not sure. Okay. Gonna make this out of one piece going up. So we got 21 1/4. And then this I'm going to cut long, so 7 inches. And that's the old man noise there, in case you didn't know. 58 will be a little short, so that's perfect. Be an 1/8 inch down from the starter. 58. I'm going to make that out of one piece and turn those corners. And this starter is actually going to get in the way of the J channel trying to go up there, so I'll cut it back a little bit. They were really nice and spray foamed the seam in the plywood and made a bubble there. Smush it down. There we go. All right. Full piece of J, and this time I'll try measure off the correct end. We got our 7 inches. And then we had our 21 1/4, so that'd be 28 1/4. And 28 1/4 That'd be 16, 1, 6, 86 and a quarter, I believe. Yep. $86.25, marking that trough, and I'll double check that. Supposed to have 58. Yep. And again, I'm leaving it up an inch or thereabouts. Matching the profile of the siding. This one I know is almost a 90-degree corner, the first one. So I'm gonna snip this not at a 90, but just a little bit less than a 90. And then this is almost a 45, but not quite. And I'll snip out that inside edge, the nail fin. And now I made a 90. It can open up a little bit. And I need to turn that little tiny corner there. And I'm gonna do that with my adjustable angle that I like to make. This one's easier because the way I'm snipping on that. Okay. And I'm going to go right with this, right with the edge of the drop catcher and the drip cap. It's just a little below there. And I'll nail the top first. Close to the top of the slot again. There we go. And that's looking really well, really good. Make sure we're still matched up there. Hold it tight. And now I'll mark a 45 here. There, there, and there. This one almost, I could have done something maybe a little different right here, but I think it looks okay. That one cracked a little bit. Don't like that, but it'll be all right. It's going to be hidden by this one. Make sure. Yep. And well, it snuck over a little bit. Wonder if I can push it over. Hit all those staples over. Should move it. That's pretty good. All I'll live with that. Okay. Get this on the staple there, move it over a smidgen, and same thing here. Now it more or less matches all the way down. Okay. Well, we got all our trim on, starters on, except for, oh, I didn't do this undersill under this window. Okay guys, so here's what we're looking like from far away. All that little J-channel detail we've been doing. And that's a pretty nice, neat job. People like hiring me. I'm not trying to toot my own horn here, but it is what it is. Okay. I'll switch guns because that gun is not approved for nailing siding on. Stapling siding, I should say. And I guess, oh yeah, that's right, we had to put on one piece of undersill. One piece of undersill. Which one's longer? This one. That's the one. Once again, just going by feel here, reaching around and feeling that it's flush with the inside of that trough of the window. Out of staples. Reload. Okay. One of these days I won't be working crouched over. Going with the inside of that trough there. And carefully snipping that. And we are good to go. I never did check that this window was the same as the other one, but pretty confident that it's going to be good. 23 and a half. 23 and a half, a little shy. That's perfect. All right, so what we have is we got a driveway coming in this way. So I want the seams to face that direction. So when you look this way, you'll see the butt end of the seams. So that means the easiest way for me to remember that is to just go, oh, I'm looking from over there, so I'm gonna start from over here. I don't even have to think about it anymore. Just start siding without even thinking. All right. I want to open this box right up. Yeah, I suppose. Okay. And we'll do some measuring on this piece. Get around this little thing here. 6 7/8, and be 7 3/8. And it goes over 3/8. 3/8 over. Right in there. Leave a little bit of room inside there. We got 81 1/4. 81 1/4 is a little short. Okay. And we know it gets bigger on the top. We measured from the bottom, so we gotta keep that in mind. $81 1/4, and we'll go 81 1/4 plus our 3/8, 81 5/8, and we had 6 7/8. And then we had 7 and something, 7 1/4, 7 3/8. Yeah, okay. It's looking good. Cutting this piece with a 1/4 inch on each side for it to expand and contract. And from this point, I typically only expect it to get bigger because it's probably about 35 degrees or so right now. So it's fairly chilly out. Looks like we grabbed the Tyvek and put it in there too. Don't like that. That's going to hold this siding down a little bit. There we go. Okay. Reload. Make sure it's up tight. Putting my staple at the top of the slot and in the middle. You can see this can still move back and forth. Okay. This one's got to get cut around a bunch of things. .108 is tight, so we'll go 107 5/8. 107 5/8. And we're measuring a little bit up on the bottom of the J there. 2.5. And what did we have before? We had our 81 1/4. It was 81 5/8 to there. That's to that point there. I'll go a little strong for that. And then to that point, we got 5 shy. And then it's going to go up at an angle. And I think I'm actually going to snap a line to give me a reference point. And a hook here, I'm going to go 8 inches I do the same thing over here. Unless I got my level. Yeah, it's over there, whatever. I go 8 inches here. Okay. My mark's a little low. I'll just adjust my nail. There we go. And I'm extending this out so now I can measure. Go right on that mark there. Now I brought that 8-inch reference mark all the way to the corner there. Okay, over here all the way down we have 2 1/8. 2 1/8, yep. Okay, we got all those points that we need to make that cut. So I'm gonna go up, over, up at an angle. And we have both those lengths. What do we got? 107 5/8 is the overall. Those are overall, and that's on the top edge. Then we had 81 5/8 strong. It's on the bottom edge. 81 5/8 strong. And then that was up 2.5 inches. And then over on the far end, it was down 2 1/8. That's from this, because we marked 8 inches up from the clip of the other one. So that gets cut down there. And then we need to make a mark to know where we need to start the angle going up. This stays at that for a little ways. It was 5 inches shy over is where it starts to angle back up. Okay. And we had our 2.5. And right at that point, it angles up. I'll just grab this piece of siding and use this as a straight edge. Right there. Right there. There we go. Gotta be careful when you get to these edges here. I'm trying to stress this side so that any cracks go in that direction. Typically don't end up with a crack here. Just the way it works out. There it is. Boy, that's really I didn't even feel that clip in. Okay. So the bottom is contacting a little bit there. And it's making things move just a little bit. So I'm gonna trim it. I'm gonna trim that just a smidgen. It's looking beautiful. Well, I wrote my measurement where I covered it up. If you guys were here, you could tell me what it was. I'll have to remeasure. 107 5/8. And I'm going to measure up to the bottom of the window. I want to go right with the bottom of the window. I got 7 3/4 is the exact. I want it to settle down just a little bit, so I'm gonna go 7 5/8 up. And we'll check this side as well. We're right at 8 inches, so I'll go 7 7/8 over here. It's a little bit out of angle on that side. .107 5/8. I'm going to hold it up there and mark the window out, so I don't really have to measure the window once this is cut. Okay, now what I'm doing is I'm shifting it all the way tight over here, and I'm going to give myself a little bit of room inside this trough, and I'll mark the other trough tight. That way it can come this way a bit. Make sure it's tight there, and it's a little tricky, but I got a mark there, right there. Okay. We're going 7 7/8 to we're tapering it to 7 5/8. Whoops. Too much. Where's the other mark? There it is. Square that up. Kind of working my way through that rib. As gentle as I can be. so that I don't crack it. Oh. Cracking a little bit. Again, I'm trying to stress the scrap piece, so if it does want to crack, it's going to head in the direction of the scrap. I did end up with a couple little ones there, but those will be okay. They'll be hidden. Oop, bumping you guys around. Okay. You can see it still slide around a bit, and confirm that you're staying at 4 inches. It's right on, right on. It's down a little bit there. Yeah, that's good. Okay, so I'm gonna actually put a couple little tabs in this piece. Just trace the bottom of that undersill. And I'll put a couple tabs just to hold that middle up. See, it's cold when your tab snaps right off. Alright, I'm gonna pause you guys for a minute, a second here. Okay, there we go. You hear those tabs lock into place. Lets you know they're engaged. You can also look underneath and just make sure that you don't see them creating a little gap there. It's good. Alright, I'll be back. Well, got a confession to make. I forgot to tape the top of this flashing. So I took the siding off and now I just taped it. Little tip again. Just go a little bit sideways with that. Now you'll be able to grab that edge. You won't be fishing around for it. Okay, there we go. Sealed up. And I put my gloves on because my fingers are a little cold. I really like these nitrile gloves. They allow me some dexterity. And I can still feel nails when I'm trying to get them out of my bags. Also, in case you guys think that staples don't hold well, in order to take this off, I had to, most of the staples ripped right through the nail fin. Like, that's how well they hold. Okay. Start at the end, get it clipped down, and you just work your way across. making sure that it's going into the undersill as you go. It's all the way up. Looking good. Perfect. Straighten that guy out. And get a measure on all these pieces, and I'll run over to the saw and cut them. So we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 7 pieces. These can be fairly tight. I'm not going to be able to bend them in anyways. I'm going to have to drop them in from the top. And they're not going to expand much because they're so small. So like 9 1/4 down there looks good. Yep, 9 1/4. 7 pieces at 9 1/4. We've got 6 pieces. And that can be like 26. Yep, 26 is looking good. And we had 7 over there. No. Yeah, 7, whatever it was. Right here, we know that this is coming across right there. And we'll have 2 pieces because I want to go short of the top of the window. 48 1/4. It's looking good. I can go a little strong on 48 1/4. Okay. So we got all those measured out. But I'm going to put that on hold for now. We'll I'll measure these ones, and then I'm going to put those pieces on. So 71 1/8 is exactly tight, so we want to go about 70 3/4 shy. The manufacturers, I believe, call for a 1/4 inch gap on all edges. That's looking good. We know that side has 7 pieces, so this side is also going to have 7 pieces because it's next to that door edge there. The 8th piece is going to go over the top of the door. And the siding reaches to the same spot over here. And this is the same as the other side, so this will also be 6 pieces. So we got 20 1/2, 20 1/2. We need 6 of those, and then we need 2 of the next ones, just like the other side was. 40 1/8. We'll go 40 1/8, a little strong. 2 at that. Okay. So we know what all the cuts are to go into there to get us all the way to the top of the door and the top of the windows. I'll put these pieces on here to start. I don't think a full reaches. Nope. And the last piece will be big enough where it's not going to be just a tiny piece, so I don't have to cut this down at all. That Tyvek is the house wrap. It's working its way under the siding, which is kind of a little bit obnoxious. There we go. There we go. All right, all the way tight in there. Once again, I believe the manufacturer calls for a 1/4 inch gap inside there. I don't do that. So I don't know. Also, I'm putting that first staple all the way on, almost all the way on that side of the slot. That way it can't, as it expand and contract, this piece is not going to walk its way out of the J channel over here and look like crap. So I like to go in pretty tight. It has room to grow in that direction. As long as I don't staple next to a hole on the right side of the hole all the way on the other end, as long as I don't do that, it'll always be able to expand in this direction here. And I've never had that cause any issues. I've been doing this stuff for, oh, I don't even know, 12 years, 15 years, however long. Hard to tell because I've done a few other things here and there. But whew. 8.5. Oh man, that lands in a perfectly bad spot. At least, okay, at least this bottom thing is below the piece, so I'll be able to snip that off. I've had to actually make a slice and bend it around that box. Luckily I don't have to do that with this one. Alright, so let's see. We have 2 more pieces to get past that window. And I like to do 3-foot increments. I think that 70 3/4. Yeah, if I do 3 and then 6 feet off, then I'll actually end up into the window. So I'll do 3 foot, and then I'm gonna skip my 6 foot off one. I'm gonna go right to my 3'6". And yeah, the one piece will actually, the piece will reach all the way to the end when I do the top one. Okay, 3'6", because when you cut 3 foot increments off of a piece, that leaves your starter at 9'6", 6'6", and 3'6". That's my second starter, and this is my first one. I like to make it so that the siding reaches all the way across an opening. I don't like to put a seam if I can help it. I don't like to put a seam on a window, like in the middle of a window, because there's just a chance that that seam could open up and not look very nice. So right here, all I'm doing is just cutting out this top nail fin, because it was like 8.5 or something. Right there. See how it looks. Oh yeah, that's good. Found something hard in there. Just gotta make sure that you're not bumping into the bottom right there. And there's a little bit of room, so that's good. Okay, that thing can come out of there. And I'll do another staple. Okay. The same way we marked out that window over there, we'll do a little bit short, and then right with the edge. That'll allow it to move a little bit. And the bottom we'll just cut right off. So we're measuring now to the top of the trough. 6 1/8 is exact. In order to clip it in, I need to go a little bigger. Go 6 3/8. In the summertime, you can go pretty tight with the tops, because you can take a zip tool and just bend this clip right down and get it to hook onto that clip. But it's too cold right now, and if I did that, it would crack. So I'm going to leave myself a little bit of extra room at the top. That way it can settle down and I won't have to bend that clip so much. If you do it enough, you can actually get it to go in without even using a zip tool. This is a zip tool, and it hooks on that. Hooks on this little thing here, and you can bend it down with it. Once again, just holding gently. Hold up gently on it, maybe about 1 pound or 2 of pressure. And I'll get the pieces that I cut off. So I use those as starters. I like to make my factory ends. Together. That way it's got the notches out of it. And they can slide together and you'll have an overlap there. Most manufacturers recommend 1 inch of overlap. I generally go with more than 1 inch. I'll go with 1.5 inches. Honestly, it might void the warranty, I don't know. So those are things to look at if you're worried about maintaining your warranty. I like to do a bigger overlap because I've seen siding actually open up on seams where one piece slides one way, the other piece slides the other way. Next thing you know, in between the pieces, now you have a gap. Most manufacturers, I feel like, my personal opinion is that they actually don't account for all the variables. And what I've done through my years is try to account for those things by putting a staple at the edge of the slot there. So now this thing can't back out of that J channel. I've had callbacks before where they're like, hey, you didn't put the siding into the J channel. And yeah, I just went over there and slid it back in. It was installed correctly. There's 7.5 over here. And over here. Looks like 7 5/8. Okay, got those two. But yeah, my disclaimer is always follow the manufacturer's instructions, and if you take some of my advice and it doesn't work out for you, that's your fault, because you're the one that's going to be liable. Oh goodness, this thing is not staying. So what I can do is I'm just gonna tack it there for a second. Okay, now I can mark it easier. I should say your fault. It sounds bad, but what I'll say is deviate from your manufacturer's instructions at your own risk. Always check the manufacturer's instructions and follow them. These are things that I like to do. I guess I like to live on the edge a little bit. But the idea for me is to do a job that looks good and will continue to look good for many years. Sometimes it helps to go up like that. Now I relieved a lot of that pressure of getting through that clip. And so what I'm doing is kind of tearing the siding when I'm rocking it back and forth like that, instead of trying to shear it. See that? Because I'm stressing the left side, it cracked in that direction. And the biggest thing with vinyl, as always, is making sure that it has room to expand and contract. So do not ever nail tight. Or nail it in a manner where it doesn't have room to grow. Meaning, if I was to nail this piece here and then right here, when this siding tries to expand, it's got nowhere to go between those two nails, and this will bubble in between. You can see this has room to move. Okay. I think they even call for a 1/4 inch above and below windows. Not sure on that one. I generally go pretty tight. I'm trying to get my bags hooked on that. And I'll put some clips in this just so it can't sink out. There we go. These ones are a little bit high. I'm just gonna let it go because I got one there and there that are good. You don't want it to be all dropped down enough so that this clip comes out of there. Flexing that thing up. See all those tabs are in. And okay, how are we looking on this starter ship? There, right on our 48. All right, I'm gonna go cut all those pieces and I'll be right back. All right, have all my siding cut all the way to the tops of the windows and the door. Went over to my saw table and got that done. This J channel is nice and flexible, so I can actually bend it out, get the siding in. I don't have to really bend the siding very much, ensuring that I'm clipped in. This stuff is not really making a definitive locking sound when it goes in. And a lot of times the window edge looks better if it's tighter in there. The J channel typically has a little bit more forgiveness. Window edges are typically only maybe 3/4 deep. And the J channel is about 1 inch. Okay, I got a few pieces on. I'm just gonna double check that I'm running level and that I'm gonna match up with that. Yeah, I thought it felt like I was heading a little bit downhill. All right. It's right on at 16. It's gonna work out beautifully. And when I get up there, again, I mean, a lot of these things I'm gonna repeat just for newcomers. Maybe I'll have new information for people that have stuck around for a while. But you can see those the clip lines up perfect with the starter over there. No, I'm saying you can see, but I'm hoping you can. Your vantage point's actually a little higher than mine. Okay, 8 footer is too tall, so I'm gonna use the 6 footer. And then I'll probably, after I run these up, I'll probably throw the planks on and stock everything out and call it a day. And you can see that. There we go. We're lining up perfect there. And this is the little trick I was talking about that I've shown before that I like to do. Just cut that a little bit at an angle. And now it'll direct itself right onto that clip. Flex that corner out a little bit, and there we go. I nailed this corner on from the other side so I couldn't reach around. Okay. Yeah, somebody tried to call me and they just called and hung up. Cool. Okay. Those little staples sticking out sometimes bubble the siding. And with those little pieces over there, I wasn't really mentioning it, but you really do have to be careful not to pull too hard because you'll stretch them out. These ones I can hold a moderate amount of pressure on, and I'm actually pulling up with the nail gun, staple gun as well. You can see I can still move. And another tip I got for you is that when you get close to when you get a wire like this and you know the electrician's gonna just screw directly through the siding, like they're not supposed to, but they will. They won't give it room to move. So what you do is leave, when you have more siding on one side, leave room to grow in that direction. Typically, I'd probably already have my plank set up by now, but it doesn't take very much time to just go 2 steps on a ladder. That's gonna bubble the siding out if I don't take care of it. And after this, I mean, that's on the electrician really to caulk his block in. So I'm going to mark pretty tight to the center, maybe a little bit over, and that's going to allow it to grow that way. Measure up. Got 5.5 shy, so it's 1.5 inches because I'm minusing 4 from that. And hopefully this doesn't crack on me. I could actually bore a hole. I think it'd be a safer bet. Go to the back side, kind of clean it up a bit. There we go. There we go. All right. You see, I'm leaving it room to go that way. Okay. The electrician will have a surface mount block that actually has the contour of the siding in it. And he'll just mount it right to the siding. Cut myself one extra of those, so these we had cut tight. I'm gonna have to drop them in from up above. Otherwise, I'm never gonna be able to bend them inside there, you know. You'll end up creasing it there. That's enough of those for now. And I'm holding on the bottom lightly. There we go. And oftentimes the wire might come out close to a joint. I'll either go up with it or down with it so that I can get it more in the middle. This is a doorbell wire, so I want it to come out of the middle of the siding. So it's actually pretty close, so I'm just gonna run with it. We got 2 5/8. They'll be able to work with that. 2 5/8. And I'll actually bore a hole in this. This one's got to be a pretty exact hole because, you know, doorbells, the housing is not very big, so if I go much bigger than that, you're gonna see a hole in the siding. Once that doorbell thing is on, whatever you want to call it. All right. It's a little bit tricky. I'll bend this thing, a little hook in it, and try to fish it in there. Where am I at? Right there. Okay. There we go. Boom. Gentle. All right. Out of staples. Reload. Okay, now what we can do also, and I didn't do it on the window, but I will on the door. I'm actually going to check what we have, 4 5/8. And I want to try to match that over there if I can. And that's operating under the assumption that the door is level across the top. So if it's not matching up, then I need to check that the door is level. We got 20 3/4 or so. I know it needs to go up a little bit. So I can actually stretch this out just a smidge. And what do we got? 4 3/4. I can live with that. I don't want to go too crazy. I know that if I hook there, it's supposed to be 18 1/2, because we went 16 plus our 2 1/2 with the for the bottom. We're pretty close to the same. So this door is, the top of the door is a little bit out of level. So I prefer to keep my siding straight across there at this line. That way the siding's nice and straight, even if the door is a little bit out. Sometimes you'll see doors that are on old construction, it'll be an inch out of level, so you really can't rely on the measurement over the opening. I could put the staple close to that side of the hole. That way it can't come out of the window edge. These ones are big enough I can actually bend them in. Not really too concerned about it working its way out of the window. And if you really don't want to risk going outside of a warranty thing, you could probably, maybe, put your nail so it's got a 1/4 inch to move over, but it won't come completely out of the J. But once again, deviate from the manufacturer's recommendation at your own risk. These are things that work well for me. See how we lined up. Okay, so it's a little bit off, so I'm going to let it settle down just a little bit. What I'm going to do is put the nail down low, the staple down low, and then I'll put one up the top. Now it's locked in both up and down. That staple right there is actually kind of hooking, holding it a little bit tight, but it can still move. Okay, same thing we did over on the other side. Just cutting a little angle there just to help us get this thing in. You wouldn't believe how many times I fought that kind of situation to get the thing to go in. You know, spending 5 minutes or 2 minutes on something that should literally take 1 second. So that's actually a pretty big time saver right there for you. Because if you just have that square edge, it's going to continue to get hooked on just everything right there. Okay, we got all the siding worked up to the tops of the openings. We know everything's heading straight across, and I'm going to show you guys how I go about J-ing around that dryer vent right there. Do a nice neat job on that. See, I got a scrap over here. Where do I got a scrap? Did I not? Oh, I guess I don't have any scraps of J. I'm gonna turn this off while I go get a scrap.